Man, I struggle to believe that it's already been well over a year since I bought the Kawasaki Z H2, and I've had a lot of time to get to know her, but does she still turn me on? Is she still as epic as the first day I brought her home? Well, I think a lot of you are already going to know the answer to this one, but let's jump on and let's find out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that you guys already know how much this wicked motorcycle still turns me on, and today I thought I'd whack out the Insta360 as well, just to give you guys something different to look at today. But yeah, man, honestly, I can't say enough good things about this bike. Yes, she does have a few little quirks and things like that, which I've mentioned in other videos in the past. But I mean, in terms of just the experience and in terms of just the way how she makes you feel, that hasn't changed. Honestly, she still feels as epic and as wonderful as ever. And it's not one of those experiences that I've gotten bored of. And that's the thing. I mean, after a year or so, you kind of get used to the bike you're riding, don't you? And a lot of the time it kind of becomes a bit like you're going through the motions almost to ride it. But not with this motorcycle. With this bike, you still get something new every single time you ride her. At least if you're quite a conservative rider like myself, I always leave a little bit on tap for when I really want to have a blast. It's actually quite funny. I was riding down this road earlier, and yeah, there was an absolutely crazy rider. I didn't even see what bike he was on, but man, he was overtaking round bends, and it was awful, man. And I kind of thought to myself, wow, if you were on this motorcycle, if you were on the Z H2, you'd be dead. And I think that after all this time, I still believe that you have to give this motorcycle a lot of respect. I mean, it is by far the most powerful super naked you can buy at the moment. 200 horsepower at the crank, 130, 40 newton meters of torque at the crank on tap, yeah. And with a fairly short wheelbase as well, let's not forget that. This motorcycle really is a monster. And I'm not gonna lie, she can be frightening. She absolutely can be frightening at times. It's quite interesting. When I took the ZH2 to have her recall fixed, one of the sales reps there, they said about how they had a person on a test ride who was giving it all that, you know, about how he's been in MotoGP and stuff like that. I know he clearly hadn't, but I can't remember exactly, but he was really boasting about the types of bikes he's ridden and things like that. He got on the ZH2 and it was too much for this person that was giving it all the torque, you know. It was too much for them. They thought it was crazy. But if I'm being totally honest with you, you don't have to be a crazy person to ride the ZH2. You can easily ride it sensibly and have a lot of fun with it in the meantime, as and when you get those opportunities to open the taps just a little bit. But yes, it is a crazy motorcycle in terms of how it delivers power, the amount of power that it has, and just the experience as a whole. Because you're in a really relaxed seating position, you're in like a touring bike seating position, it's super comfortable, that it kind of takes you off guard sometimes. Or at least if you've never ridden a super naked before, or even if you have ridden a super naked before, you get on this, it will seriously take you by surprise how much torque and how much power this thing has on tap. I mean, you can easily be pulling wheelies in pretty much every gear on this motorcycle if you're not careful. And even with the traction control on, which by the way, the traction control is Kawasaki's wheelie control at the same time as well, it will still allow you to pull fat wheelies even with the traction control on. So yeah, it's something to definitely keep in mind. But honestly, I'm not one of those guys that really pulls back the throttle like that all the time. I'm not like that at all. but she is still epically enjoyable, and no, she's not overly scary for me. Yeah, okay, it maybe helped that I've been riding the ZZR for, I don't know, about a year and a bit, over a year. I think it was close to 2 years. I've been riding the ZZR before I got on the ZH2, so I did kind of know what to expect, but even then it took me by surprise, because bear in mind, this is a 1 litre engine. Yes, it's supercharged, but the amount of torque that it produces for the amount of displacement it has, it just is mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing. And I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. By the way, if you haven't seen our review of the ZH2, I'll leave it up in the top corner for you to watch afterwards, or I'll leave it at the end of the video. I don't know. If I forget, I'll leave it at the end of the video. But yeah, definitely go and check that one out as well if you want a really in-depth review of the specs and how it kind of felt to ride pretty much when I first got her, within a month of having her and testing her out. I think that was when I produced that video, so it was pretty fresh in my mind of how it felt like when I first rode this motorcycle. But no, she still stirs those same emotions that I had from well over a year ago. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it kind of makes you speechless. You kind of a bit of a loss of what to say, and all you can kind of feel is, it's all feelings that you get, is you just feel in awe, just absolutely in awe. And I'd absolutely love to give her a bit more on this road, but there are speed cameras up the wazoo on this damn road, and I hate it. It's also one of those roads where it has those signs up every couple of miles saying how many people have died on it or something stupid like that. So, well, whatever. Whatever indeed. I don't need to know that. I just want to have fun. Woo! Yeah, man, even in 6th gear, she really pulls. And that's at about 4,000 RPM as well, so you can imagine what she feels like towards that top end. Mid-range, 8,000 RPM and upwards, man. Yeah, she absolutely comes alive. And the funny thing is that she has torque on tap throughout the entire range, and it's not an exaggeration. Honestly, she really wants to pull hard, but she continues pulling harder and harder every 1,000 RPM. Oh man. I will say this, that fuel economy is pretty much the same. It was a concern that I had when I picked up this motorcycle, kind of like within the first 6 months or so, I had kind of noticed that there was a bit of an issue with the fuel economy. I mean, yeah, that is still the case. She still gives me about 30 mpg, maybe a little bit less than 30 mpg, but then again, I mean, considering how I ride this motorcycle, you know, I'm almost constantly giving her the beans on the straights, because I mean, that's kind of what you got to do when you own a motorcycle like this. I mean, what's the point in having one if you're not going to do that, you know? But yes, she still averages around about 30 mpgs. I mean, I might be able to bring it up here actually. Let's see if I can remember how to bring it up. It's trip A, trip B, lean angle, average speed, battery. Okay, so apparently it's giving me 37.5 mpg. Wow, that's actually surprisingly good. I'm sure that's going to go down. I mean, if I put down the mpg that I've got at the moment actively, as I give it her some, you can probably see it fluctuating on the GoPro here. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, a lot of the riding that I do is start-stop. I'm not on motorways a lot, and I don't like going on motorways either because they're boring. But I will say this as well, that if you are going to do motorway journeys on this, then honestly they're pretty good going, they're pretty easy going. You just whack on that cruise control and you just chill out 60, 65 mile an hour, I'll have to do that one day. I'll have to do a test like that. Do 60 mile an hour down a motorway and just see what MPGs I'm able to get out of the ZH2 over a longer journey, and kind of just see really where it's at. Because honestly, I'm not doing that kind of riding at all. And a lot of the riding that I do is sub 45 minutes usually, the traveling that I do, unless I'm out shooting some videos. Then there can be as much as a couple of hours, 2 to 4 hours or so, depending on how many videos I decide to shoot that day. Like today I'm out and I'm going to try shooting 2 videos, so I'll probably be out for a couple of hours or so. I mean, I've been out for an hour already, but yeah, she's certainly comfortable, man. I will say that the seat, I think, is a little bit too stiff. I would have liked a little bit more cushioning on the seat of this motorcycle, but I mean, other than that, the sitting position is to die for, man. You haven't got your knees crammed up against your elbows. You're sitting upright. There's hardly any pressure on your wrists or on your back or anything like that. So in terms of just pure comfort, I mean, I'm sure there are nakeds out there that aren't quite as comfortable as this motorcycle, I'll tell you that. I would be curious to see how this bike compares to the Z900 and the Z800 and maybe even the Z1000 as well. Because I'm sure that they have a different experience in terms of the power output for sure, but I mean, in terms of the way how they would ride, their comfort, I imagine they're quite similar in a lot of ways. Yeah, hopefully I'll get an opportunity to ride a Z900, Z800 at some point in the near future, but yeah, we'll see. Any of you guys out there that live around the Gloucester, Somerset area, let me know if you got a Z800 or a Z900. Send me a message on Instagram, and yeah, I'll be more than happy to come over and test ride her. Yeah, definitely hit me up if you got one of those motorcycles. Because I mean, that's the thing as well, that is quite the natural progression. If you are one of those people that likes naked motorcycles and you've been riding an MT-07, an MT-09, an MT-10, a Z900, a Z800, anything like that, then this is the next logical step if you want kind of the ultimate super naked experience. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, that MPG has actually taken me by surprise. I've not looked at it in a long time, but she definitely was closer to 30 MPG around about Christmas time, from memory. But yeah, that's pretty good. I will say that is pretty good, considering how I ride her. So yeah, there is hope for the MPG. But compared to other motorcycles, I mean, like my ZZR, even though it's got a lot more displacement, she's much better on fuel. I think she does roughly about 45 mpg, 46 mpg for me, for the type of riding that I do. So that's pretty good going, I think, compared to the ZH2 anyway. But that's the thing. I mean, I talk a lot about fuel economy, or I have been talking a lot about fuel economy so far in this video. But if you're not doing long trips, then it's not really a big deal, to be honest. So I wouldn't worry about it too much, because I mean, in terms of if you had to sacrifice a little bit of fuel economy to get the experience that this motorcycle gives you, no contest. No contest at all, man. The experience of this motorcycle is second to none. Perhaps one of the most, well, if not the ultimate riding experience if you like riding motorcycles that are naked. Yeah, 100%, man. There's no denying that at all. I mean, we have had a few viewers that have left comments saying about how they've been watching our videos on the ZH2 and how amazing, I kind of rated it, and they actually went ahead and bought the ZH2 back then. And I mean, I've been making videos about the ZH2 for, well, pretty much since I've owned her, so about a year and a half now. And so definitely let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, because I imagine that you are a long-term owner of this bike. So I'd love to know if you feel the same way, if not similar, to how I have felt about this motorcycle. I was going to give it a bit more than that down this road, but it's a bit bumpy. So yeah, probably not the best idea. Yeah, I mean, I've been holding off riding the ZH2 ever since I got that letter through the post about that recall, but she's fine. She rides exactly the same as she did before the recall fix. So I think that was a slight issue for people looking to buy the ZH2, I think towards the back end of 2022 because of the recall. But they are back up for sale again now, as far as I'm aware. So if you are looking to buy a ZH2 from new, then you shouldn't have any problems getting a hold of one at your local dealer here in the UK, and I imagine in Europe as well. But yeah, man, what a machine, what an epic motorcycle to own. And I would like to keep her. I would. I'm definitely going to keep her the length of my contract anyway. Maybe before that point, I might do some mods. I don't know. Technically speaking, I'm not allowed to do mods, but then again, I mean, there's nothing stopping me from selling the bike and taking home the equity that I've got in the bike. So from that point of view, I could do some mods. I could do an exhaust mod. I could do an ECU flash or a remap, maybe. Yeah, these are things that I've kind of discussed in a previous video in the past, and even though I absolutely love this motorcycle just as is, the exhaust is quite heavy, so that's what a lot of people do. The very first thing they do is just get rid of that exhaust, put on an aftermarket one, something that's lighter, something that sounds a bit meatier, a bit beefier. So that's something that I think I'm going to look to do as well, but I think it's going to cost around about, I thought 300 quid, at least from when I looked last time. Maybe not, maybe it's a little bit less than that, I don't know, but yeah, I'm thinking maybe about 300 quid is what I'd need to spend if I was gonna get a slip-on exhaust for the ZH2. But yeah, maybe that's something I'll do, I don't know. I'll keep you guys posted on that, because I think now that I've owned her for almost 2 years, I think maybe that is the right time now. I've had a lot of time to experience her just as she is stock, so maybe now is the right time to broaden my horizons a little bit and put on an aftermarket exhaust and just kind of see how she changes, see if she's any different, see if it's something that I would actually recommend you doing if you own a ZH2 yourselves. And I imagine that a lot of you owners probably have done that already. So I feel like I should take part, you know, I'll do it. Even though I'm not much of a modding person, I like to keep motorcycles as stock as possible, really. But hey, we'll see. We will see. I'll let you guys know on that front. Oh man, what a motorcycle. Honestly guys, I can't recommend her enough. If you've got a few years of riding experience on middleweight bikes and you're looking for one of the most crazy motorcycle experiences that you'll find, the ZH2 has got to be up there as probably top 5 craziest motorcycles you could buy right now in 2023. And if I'm being honest, I think this is going to be one of the most ultimate experiences ever for ICE motorcycles. I mean, Kawasaki are looking to go electric, which I'm not exactly happy about, but a lot of manufacturers are looking to go electric anyway, so I suppose it's only a matter of time. So, I mean, this may be the only generation of the ZH2 that we'll find, which is, yeah, a real shame, but oh, sweeties. Yeah, so it's a shame, but now is probably the time to buy one. I seriously doubt that there's going to be another ZH2 on the horizon, but I don't know. Kawasaki have done crazier things in the past, so I suppose we'll see on that as well. But anyway, guys and gals, I mean, I've been riding now for roughly 15 minutes talking about how awesome the ZH2 is, and even though I've got a few issues with her, I've had a few issues with her just from a maintenance point of view and things like that. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, from an experience point of view, it is second to none. She is honestly one of the best motorcycles you will ever ride in your life. And I know that it may be too much for some riders, maybe, alright, if you find it difficult on your throttle hand, if you find it difficult to keep control, then maybe this is not the motorcycle for you. But even so, I definitely recommend you go and test ride a ZH2 like I did, because you may end up falling in love with it after that. So I definitely recommend, if you're out there looking to buy a new motorcycle for the summer here in the UK and in Europe, in the Northern Hemisphere, and you want it to be something, a once in a lifetime experience, something that, I don't know, you just want blow your socks off, definitely go out and test ride the ZH2. I mean, Kawasaki are going to be looking to do demo days in the near future. Hopefully I can be a part of those as well, and I'll report my findings then. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say, guys. Definitely give the ZH2 a go. She is absolutely 100% worth it. But anyway, guys and gals, thank you for joining me on today's ride. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and thank you for joining me on this very, very lovely, wonderful ride through the UK countryside. Yeah, it's been an awesome few days, and I really wanted to take the opportunity midweek to come out and shoot some videos. So yeah, thanks again. Leave a like, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. As always, hit subscribe, and we will catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.